Doot up, da doot up, da. Ow.
All right.
Well, cheers and welcome to a tradition unlike any other from Behind the BarCast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general. I'm Paxton Eugene. We got Sunset Kelly on the ones and twos over there. Hello and welcome this week. Sorry we were out last week. I had to take it's our spring break.
It was.
Take a little break. This week, like every week, we are brought to you by Firemaker Beer. Now, my buddy Mike, he brought me a new batch of their new batch product.
There's a lot in that fridge.
There's a lot in that fridge. It's really nice. Right now, I'm drinking the Sour Siren Tangerine Mango. I do not like sours. I'm sour enough already.
Yeah.
I'm not a sour guy. The other night, I popped open this Sour Siren. I drank 2 of them.
All right.
They're that tolerable. And now I'm drinking one right now because it's still tolerable to me. I might be coming around.
It might be more palatable at this point.
Right? And I think it's just it doesn't have that vinegary thing that most sours have to me.
Okay.
Most sours that I've ever even tasted, it's just like it's almost salty for some reason. Yeah,
All
I
right.
don't like it. And then we also have the Firemaker Perfect Match IPA, which I drank a few of the other night. Fire. And another new. It's called the Chattahoochee Tea.
Wonderful name.
And it's the Southeastern IPA, which is also divine. The only other thing I got down there that's new is a strawberry sour that they're doing. I'm not ready yet. It's just like going to see Billy Strings. We're not ready. You know what I mean? Someone asked me the other day if I was going to see him. I was like, one, I like to have a drummer in the band,
Sure.
And someone agreed with me in the group, and then they're all like, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I told him, I was like, look, I've heard Billy Strings do the Help on the Way Slipknot suite,
Yeah.
the Grateful Dead. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to go out and see a show, I want there to be a drummer.
Okay.
But visit firemaker.com. And if your local pub or bar doesn't have any of these Firemaker beers, tell them you're not coming back to their funky place unless they start carrying it.
Take a stand.
Yeah, and tell Mike O'Connor that from Behind the BarCast sent you. With all that housekeeping out of the way, I guess, did you do anything interesting this week?
Went home and saw the folks.
Yeah. Was that good?
Yeah, it was kind of a light week, so I figured I'd just maybe head up to Augusta.
Yeah.
And coincidentally,
Yeah.
there was a golf tournament.
The Masters.
Yes, the Masters.
We went to the Masters on Thursday.
Beautiful day.
What a day. And everyone thought it was good. For 2 weeks out, everyone's like, you're getting weather. And the thing was, there was a little weather in the morning, but we got to sleep in a little longer.
Oh, yeah.
They postponed all the tee-off times. So we got out there, and maybe like 3 groups had teed off by the time we got out there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was a lot of golf to be played.
And we saw a whole bunch of it. So the first magical moment out of many, obviously, you're enamored by the course. And this was the first time I'd ever been there for a round.
Yeah.
So where we were like hole 8, 9. This is Thursday. No one knows who's going to be in contention anywhere. And Kelly and I are standing there. We got a really great view of this hole, because it's early on Thursday. This group, no one's really like big name in the group that we were watching. And there was a Asian lady standing right next to us.
Well, there was kind of a big name, but continue.
Oh yeah. Well, it was overshadowed at some point. So this young man, Morikawa,
Yep.
sinks a putt, and I think it might have just been a par putt.
I think it was a birdie, actually.
Yeah. So the gallery, a little bit of a golf clap applause. But the Asian lady next to us jumps up and down. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, she must be related, whatever. I was like, or her friend, whatever. And then, so since the crowd, it was early Thursday, and
It was a tepid response to the birdie.
response. There's not a lot of stakes happening right then, So she goes, well, I guess only a mother could celebrate like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's your son,
Yeah.
So, we kind of...
Colin Morikawa's mom.
Yeah, we kind of
Dead
kept
in
an
front
eye
of
on
us.
him a little bit. And I was like, how cool is it that... It was weird that she was alone, though. I mean, I think she had a little friend with her.
Yeah, she had a partner with her.
Yeah.
Not a partner. Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. But, it was like the magic of, like, seeing someone who cares about the golfer. And I don't know if Morikawa's been at the Masters before.
He has. He's a 2-time champion. I think he's won the U.S. Open and maybe the PGA as well. So he's a little bona fide.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. You never really know in that crowd because unless you really stand out height-wise or just have these extreme features, you could be rubbing elbows with any number of people who are like I said, a golfer's dad or girlfriend, wife, mother.
Or an athlete from another sport that you're just not familiar with,
Yeah.
There could be like, a shortstop from a baseball team that you don't know.
Bill Murray, who loves golf, traditionally makes an appearance.
I'd notice that, dude.
Yeah.
And so everyone marvels at, how well taken care of all the courses. Obviously, it's taken care of.
Yeah.
And there's things you don't see on the telly, like the guys running out there with blowers on the greens and stuff, just before people putt, whatever. Obviously, like if you've ever been to like a college football game, whenever they do TV timeouts and stuff like that, there's just stuff that you don't expect to see on TV because, what's the reason to show it on TV?
Yeah.
And at the Masters especially, they got people up in turrets in the trees where if you don't notice them. They got a camera, especially in the corner.
They're like a sniper, a camera sniper up there.
They're in the turret.
I'm just there to get the shot.
So obviously everything's, pretty well taken care of. And every employee, whether they're like a 17-year-old volunteer or whatever, anytime you walk by, hey, you having a good day?
Yeah.
It was like a giant Chick-fil-A out there. You know what I mean?
Well said.
But there can be the idea of a little too much servicing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I don't mind. I'm just a simple man. Like I don't. People doing too much for me. I'm like, oh, that's unnecessary, man. I'm not. The corporate guy that's whatever. Yeah. So one of the second or third time I went into one of the bathrooms. Maybe I'm not a man's man. Maybe I'm you call me whatever, but I get super pee shy whenever it's a crowded bathroom at urinals. I know there's people waiting behind me. There's people beside me.
Yeah.
I have to like transcendentally meditate for a little bit. Be like, and I'm not sketched out about dudes thinking I'm trying to like look at their dicks or anything like that.
Right.
But I really got to go ocean water,
waterfall.
Put a trough at a baseball game. I'm just holding it forever. I can't. It's just I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I always like to go look for a stall if I can. So some of the bathrooms, plenty of stalls available.
Yeah.
So I'd rather go in there and just pee alone. So as we got through the course, because the way we navigated the course was kind of, we got there. We started at hole 3, I think, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
We're going through. So as we were like, we got to hit aim and corner for a little bit, whatever. We'll get to that stuff. But after about 2 hours, wherever we were on the course, in those bathrooms, number one, they were like, if you want a stall, stay on the wall.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, man, I can't wait that long. I'm going to go ahead and like force it out of my coffee stir urethra. But so then I get to one where there's plenty of stalls available. The only thing is, at each stall, before you walk in, there's a young man with gloves on that goes, "1 second, sir, let me wipe that down for you." And I didn't want to be like, "No need, I'm just going in here to pee because I can't pee around other men," or, whatever.
Yeah.
So he goes in and he sprays the toilet seat off, wipes it off. I go in, but the gentleman remains
just outside the
literally
door.
outside of the door. So if I were to turn around and sit, I know that I can make eye contact with him if I just peek through the little.
Yeah.
And I'm just going in there to pee. So even then, with the pressure of even an 18-year-old kid with gloves on, number one, I'm thinking like the way his exuberance doing the job was astounding to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, "Hey, buddy, I got that for you. Hold on, let me wipe that thing."
It's like Paxton approaches a stall. Can he make the shot? He doesn't do well around crowds.
I dropped 3 strokes on that hole, man. Dude, you've seen Waiting, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's such an old movie now, apparently. I guess it came out like 2006.
Yeah.
So many people I know in the service industry aren't aware of this movie, Waiting. It was one of Ryan Reynolds' first movies.
He looks like a baby in that.
It's amazing. That should be like they should show that movie to anyone starting to go into the service industry.
Yeah.
Because it is a time capsule, which is evergreen of how the service industry works.
Welcome to Chili's. Here's a few tips before you get started.
Yeah, exactly. Before you start here, tchotchke.
Welcome to the team.
But one of the characters in there, he couldn't pee at urinals either.
Yeah.
And then remember the dishwasher?
Uh-huh.
He goes, "Here's what you got to do. You stand there and you imagine all your friends standing around you, and they're going, 'Yes, yes, you can do it. You can do it.'" And then he goes, "No, what happens to me is I get in there and I have auditory hallucinations of everyone going, 'Why is it taking him so long?'"
I peed at any number of places. Wani or Swanee especially. There was that. I guess it basically was like a single wide trailer in the middle, kind of a
Yeah, so
porch
they got
stage.
porta johns all around the periphery, but in the venue, there's like 2 double wide trailers.
Yeah, and they remodeled them esque since then and all that. But when I first started going down there 12 years ago or so, it was just that one long trough all the way.
Man, yeah.
So you must have not been going in there.
I wasn't. No, I mean I'd go in the woods, and typically like even if you're in the venue, there is somewhere where there's porta johns.
Yeah.
Like you have to walk a little further.
Well, Martin refuses to be involved with the porta john in any capacity.
Standing or sitting?
Doesn't matter. Freshly
Really?
cleaned in the morning, does not want any part of it.
Is he a bear? Does he shit in the woods?
Well, I mean, inevitably I ended up buying one of those little, Coleman porta potty little things you can bring along and da-da-da-da.
Okay.
And I really bought it just for him.
Is it a bucket with a seat?
More or less.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, no. It's like a little tripod toilet, and if you're a certain size person, you ain't gonna have an efficient sit down area. But Martin needs privacy, like real privacy.
I got you. Okay.
And a clean.
Does it come with a little tent around it or
yes,
something?
like solar shower tent.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, even first in the morning.
And there's like a hole in the seat.
Yes, and you put a bag in there. And
yeah.
Got a little kitty litter.
That's the John McAfee special. Yeah. Do you get the reference?
But has a fear.
Do you get the reference?
No.
So John McAfee in the documentary they did about him, apparently, all of his ladies that he kept around when he was in Belize or whatever, he had like 18 girls that he like slept with and took care of, whatever. Uh-huh. So they were telling the story. They're like, he liked to do scat sex. We would sit on top of hammock. We would cut hole in hammock and sit on it, and he would get underneath. And they'd poop on him.
There's literally something for everyone.
Yeah, I guess so. And especially like if you're a rich guy like that, like some things just don't do it. Yeah. Some things might not do it for you anymore.
Well, when I first started going to the Masters back in probably the early 80s, a lot of the infrastructure that's there now was temporary. Concessions. There might have been some, permanent bathroom facilities and all that, but there was porta johns, things like that. But,
right.
But
like pop-up tents or something.
Yeah, like you see, a wedding or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Or at a music festival.
Yeah. But I don't remember at that time them being that vigilant about keeping the restroom area clean and this and that.
Yeah.
And then I guess when I went back for the first time in a while in 2012, that was the first year where they had the attendants and if you were washing your hands, if there was a drop outside the sink, they were hands on about everything.
Yeah.
And then the shot collar guy, that's something I'd never experienced before. The one who was like, if you got to be up against the wall, all that directing traffic,
the security guard
over there,
the first 8 times he goddamn said it. If you want to stall against the wall, I was like, this sounds like some jail shit. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get it because I tried to walk up and get to a stall. He goes, "You're holding up the line, buddy. Get back to the wall."
Well, it's all in the name of efficiency.
And I get that, but I just didn't understand. Like, oh, cool, it's a fun rhyme.
Yeah.
but I mean, I need a little more info to begin with,
Yeah.
It was almost like and he was saying it even when people weren't like looking for stalls, and I was like, this is the master's equivalent of the Salvation Army people that ring the bell constantly, even if no one's walking in the door at the Walmart or whatever.
Right.
So, we're walking around the round, so we're getting we didn't have an itinerary set before. We were just kind of flying.
Yeah. Well,
and you're familiar with the course.
Yeah, and you hadn't seen it. So traditionally the best way to see it for the first time is to wander.
Yeah. So it wasn't like we didn't go from hole 1 to hole 18.
No.
We didn't, definitely didn't go out of our way to catch certain people at certain times, except obviously for Tiger.
Yeah.
And we just happened to be at the hole where Ricky Fowler was coming through. And a buddy of mine put his money on Ricky to win the whole thing, just singularly. So I was kind of pulling for him. So we followed Ricky for like 2 or 3 holes or whatever.
Yeah.
But in a roundabout way, we caught every hole. We saw putts and drives on pretty much, and approach shots pretty much on every hole. But, we ping pong back and forth. And what I didn't realize about the course was like sometimes there's like 8, 9, and 10 are really close to 13, 14, 15, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's very intertwined.
Yeah, and so the vastness of the holes, the closest of all the holes together seemed smaller than I had imagined.
Okay.
But the holes themselves, the vastness of those, looking down the pipe of even a par 4,
right,
it looked like an eternity.
Yeah.
I mean, an eternity.
But I was checking yesterday, and I said, well, they got like this 200-yard par 3, and I was like, oh, scratch that, 230. Nope, oops, 240.
A par 3, and they're hitting the green with an 8-iron on that shit.
It's crazy, yeah. And again, I know it's just a golf course, and I've said this many times and all of that, but every way you turn, it's a picture. I mean, everywhere. I mean, the framing of everything from the backdrop down the fairway, or to the pins, or all that sort of stuff. I mean, everything. You drop your phone, you're taking a great picture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could accidentally take a great picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stunning.
Another thing that astounded me was the herds of people that they would herd across actual holes.
Yeah.
So there's parts of holes like 100 yards past where they're driving from, where they know no one's ever going to hit it.
Right.
And literally between the drive and them going to their approach shot, 10,000 people would cross this path.
Uh-huh.
And you could even see it in the background where someone would be hitting, and there's a herd of people moving just behind them.
Yeah.
It was astounding how much movement happened across these holes.
Yeah.
And just while play was going on.
Yeah, it's the way they do it, and I guess when you're at that level, concentration-wise, you're just not affected by any of that stuff going on the outside. So even if there's all this traffic jam going behind you, you're not even thinking about that.
True. And the other thing is, we'll get to Tiger in a second, but every hole we were at, wherever we were, whether it be at the tee or around the approach shot or at the putt, you've never heard that amount of people not say a word.
Yeah.
It's eerily quiet no matter what.
Yeah.
Except, a guy sneezes or something like that.
Right.
But it's astounding and freaky how polite, how everyone keeps their shit together, because there's a pit boss about every 50 yards.
Yeah.
And they're all dressed a little bit differently. Some of them definitely look like security. Like, you're like, that's a security guy. But some of these guys, and I think on purpose, blend in.
Yeah.
One guy's just got like the white shirt on, a little earpiece. He doesn't have like a big walkie-talkie or anything like that.
Yeah.
That we were standing next to that one time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you can't enjoy a golf shot there or take pleasure and all that sort of stuff. But like yelling "Baba Booey," "Are you the man?" and all that, they frown upon it. I mean, you call it what it is. There's plenty of other tournaments. Arizona Waste Man, Phoenix.
Yeah.
If you want to get rowdy and all that, but the Masters, for whatever reason, just it's etiquette.
Yeah.
Above and beyond probably. But it's etiquette.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you applaud a good shot, you don't deride somebody for having a bad day, that sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. But occasionally, somebody will yell out, and you almost think there's going to be a bunch of secret security guys are going to tackle him,
and
you'll never see him again.
In ghillie suits, yeah.
You'll never see him again.
Yeah, flying in, on a helicopter or something. But typically, I think, in that crowd of people, if you are the guy that yells Baba Booey, if someone turns in that direction, that guy probably looks like he would say Baba Booey. You know what I mean? So you can like pick him out of the crowd. So that's also a thing that's probably in the whole zeitgeist. But so as we followed a few people, we definitely had to see like some approach shots. We wanted to see Amen Corner for a little bit. Definitely look at 18, which 18 was weird because it was just wide ass open.
Yeah.
And just before the green and the bunkers, there's a million people walking across constantly.
Yeah.
So Tiger's coming through at some point. So we watch him tee off, sort of. I couldn't see him from where we were because he was about...
Oh, on the par 3, the 6th, I think.
Yeah, he was like 200 feet in the air, hitting over a crowd of people.
Yeah.
So then we fall into the next hole to watch him tee off. And this is the first time I've ever been within 20... I mean, we were
on him.
20 feet, something like that.
Closer.
Fucking murder face. I mean... The way he walked up, and he was, people were, so for every other golfer, they would hit a shot, good or not, and people would be like, all right, woo, a little bit of every ball Tiger hit, after he hit it, someone said, goddamn something.
Yeah.
It's so weird that Tiger's the one that brings up, because you would think, golf aficionados would be like, Tiger's a great golfer. But, that thing with the Perkins waitress, whatever, Every time Tiger hit anything, it was like, Tiger!
Yeah.
So we're standing next to that security guard guy. Tiger hits the shot, and that guy. So you and I look at the security like, get that guy out of here. Am I right? And
he laughed with us.
He was cool as shit, though.
Yeah.
But it definitely felt like the casino aspect where it's like you had a pit boss every so often. And then it seemed like anytime I saw anyone get admonished about anything, which there wasn't much, it would be one of the younger female like volunteers.
Okay. I
saw a couple of them walk up and go, "Sir, you're gonna have to stand back a little bit." So I think they delegate certain things like that. If it's not a huge thing, it's probably a little softer coming from an 18-year-old pretty girl being like, "Sir, could you just back up a little bit?"
Maybe. Yeah.
But if you're doing something like, egregious, then you get the earpiece guy.
Well, the ropes are the ropes, and they're very, it's like if you lose your hat to the wind and it starts blowing, you don't go running out there and chasing after it.
Which I saw.
Yeah, because it was super gusty on Thursday. I mean, 35, 40 mile an hour gusts apparently.
Towards the end of the day, luckily. Yeah, it wasn't like that all day. But then the next day, we were watching the round on TV. It looked like sandstorm. They might have had to replace sand in those bunkers.
Yeah, it was something else. In all my years of watching it on TV or whatever, I've never seen like the sandstorm that was coming out of those traps. And like when Rahm was putting out on 18, when we were more or less leaving at that point, he had to step away 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
he's getting sandblasted.
Yeah, literally hands over face.
Yeah. But the course looked beautiful. I forgot how, when I say hilly, I mean it's exhausting walking that thing.
Yes,
it truly is.
There is pitches and grades that don't come across on TV.
Yeah.
Also, the length of the holes don't really come across to me on TV. But yeah, the elevation changes.
Yeah.
So I was okay. The day or two after when I woke up, like my right calf was a little sore. Mostly what happened was I wore golf shoes, and I love these golf shoes. They're Nike soft bottoms.
Okay.
But I've played lots of golf in them riding on a golf cart, but I haven't walked
Yeah.
the distance. And my goddamn watch died right before we got there.
Yeah. No phones, babe.
So there's no phone, so we couldn't check the time or whatever. Also, I would have liked to have known how many steps I had taken.
Yeah.
So my only battle injuries are a slight hangover and one big blister on my big right toe and one on my little pinky toe. And but yeah, that was pretty much it for.
Just a little mild tendonitis in both my ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I do a little running, but running around Tybee is not like walking around the National. Tybee's flat. So I guess certain tendons need to get that workout.
Yeah, you're hitting new spots.
Yeah. So when I guess it was Friday when I got out of bed, I had to kind of take a slow stroll to the bathroom first and get loosened up, like maybe some Epsom salt time. Yeah.
They should pass out Epsom salts as you leave that place. Yeah. So walking around, and so we visited. So like you were saying, even in the bathroom situation, that's just a marker of how efficient they make everything.
Yeah.
Pro shops, super efficient. The beer lines and the food lines, though, you walk in, you grab it, and you go. They've got light beer. It's literally called domestic light beer.
Yeah.
And then they had one called, let's see, I got one of them, Crow's Nest, which was good.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be the asshole that because I thought the prices were different.
Okay.
So I would tell them each time. So I got import beers the first 2 times, and I told them.
Yeah.
And then the next 14 times, I just got the domestic light beers, which were, I don't know what it was.
They were $6 this year.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know what the beer was.
Yeah.
But it was very inoffensive, and I could chug the shit out of it.
Yeah. Well, the genius of the efficiency of the concessions is it could be 3 lanes, but all 3 lanes have the same thing. So you don't have to get in one line to get this thing. It's like, all I want is pimento and cheese. So there'd be a line out the door, but each lane had the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it didn't matter which one you got in. You got the same options.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I was like, I don't have to jump back and forth. If you want a sandwich, you got to go over here. You want beer, you got to go over here.
Yeah, every line has the exact same thing.
Yeah. And so you gave me a little bit of shit about this. So you get a new cup every time you get a beer. And I mean, literally, no exaggeration, I probably had 14 beers. And so I've got this I got a stack of like 6 going. And I was like, I'm not going to be that dude. So I start throwing them away, 2 or 3 at the time. And not only you, but some people around me are like looking at me like blasphemous. I was like, I don't want to walk out of here like I'm in a frat party. Like, look how many beers I drank.
Yeah. It's understandable. Like during the practice rounds, especially, it's a little looser as far as, the same, more or less the rules apply, but you can bring your phone out there.
Yeah.
Things like that. And I'm guilty of it, of having that big stack coming out of my pocket.
Yeah.
But when you see, in the trash can, you're just kind of like, it's kind of hurt your,
see, if it hadn't been the Thursday round, if it would have been one of the looser rounds, I wouldn't have mind having my stack of shame, whatever.
I think I probably drank 6 just because I was fine with that kind of thing. But I kept all of them.
Yeah, I know you did. You gave me shit for not. So Kelly, my friend, my liege, my captain most times, my travel mate, we have a curse. Anytime we travel together, near, far, space, time, whatever, something's going to happen that's pretty inconvenient. But the thing about my friend Kelly over here is in terms of spatial awareness and remembering how to get places, little things like remembering where you park the car. So we park the car, and I say this to Ray Kelly. I say, Ray Kelly, you're gonna know her. I was like, no, we were about 200 steps away, and I go, Kelly, I've totally forgotten to make a mental note, but that's your thing, like it. And then you said, yeah, got this.
Duh. Okay, look. This goes back to the efficiency of the Masters. We got in a lot faster than I thought, number one. Traffic, I mean, from Mom to Joe's to
main
there,
road. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were in very quickly. So, and they parked us very quickly. And I knew we were on the edge.
I pulled down a rope, stepped on it so that we could.
Yeah. I knew we were on the edge of something, you know. And we weren't that far away from the first tunnel towards the course. I didn't think it would be. They have C, D posts everywhere of this parking lot listed this way.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't look at.
You know what's crazy? Someone told me that in large parking areas where there's like a lot of cars, what they'll do, right, this is like trade secret. They'll put numbers and letters on there, so they go, "Hey, where you parked? Oh, I'm in C3." But anyways, please continue.
Call it excitement. Call it just ready to get in there.
I got you.
You know?
So, all right. So we go in, and I'm like, we weren't close, but we weren't,
Yeah, we weren't way out there.
It took us maybe like 10 or 15 minutes to walk in, right. And that's, walking with crowds. It's not just a straight shot. So we've had a day. I've had 16 beers. We've been walking forever. We are pretty beat up. We walk out, and Kelly's like, "Right this way, sir." How long would you estimate it took us to find the car?
I'm going in an hour. Yeah, I'm not even going to soften it. It was probably an hour.
We walked past the same 5 different girls or parking lot attendants.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "You still haven't found it? Is there anything we can do to help? Do you know what section you were in?" They
tried. I mean, short of putting us on a golf cart, they tried.
Right, yeah.
But when you finally laid eyes on it, even if we had sat there till every car in the lot had gone, we never would have saw it.
And that's what I was about to say. We had almost decided to let's just go to the highest point that we can find.
It's got to be out there.
Sit here without water or beer or cigarettes or anything until every car leaves.
Bright red Volkswagen. It can't be that hard to find.
And all the cars out there weren't bright red It was... every car you would imagine that would be at the Masters is exactly what you saw out there. Yeah. Mercedes, Volvos, all beige or white, whatever. So we've done 6 laps of the parking lot's probably as big or bigger than the course itself.
Yeah, at that moment it felt like it.
And you were absolutely sure that it wasn't across the street, and it wasn't this, it wasn't that. And finally, we get to a spot, and I was like, "Man, let me just look across the street." And there it is by itself. Whoever had parked around us had already gone. And your assumption was correct. We were right at the corner of something, but you were so sure we weren't across the street.
I got caught up in the moment. We're there.
Hey, you know what? I get it. And the thing was, I was trying to make sure that you understood that I wasn't like, "God damn you, Kelly."
The humor wore off after about 10 minutes. After that, it would just.
We were trying to keep it positive.
It became a journey lost in the desert.
And then we were searching together at one point, and then it was like, "Nah, man, I'm splitting up."
Yep.
It was like, I'm Kelly. You're like, "No, it's not that way." I'm like, "I don't care."
Yeah.
I'm looking that way.
And when you found it, it was like a mirage in the desert. I was like, it can't be real. Because in fairness, people, this thing was behind a hedge that we never would have saw from 3/4 of the parking lot. There was a small kind of like a guard shack, little house of something.
Funny you mentioned the guard shack, because I remember you saying 16 times we weren't. If I know one thing for certain, we were never near a guard shack. You said the words guard shack 16 times. If I know anything. If Ray Kelly knows anything in this world, and I've been in Augusta, I've been in the Masters, I know for certain we are near no guard shack. Literally 5 feet away from a guard shack.
We found the car.
We found the car. We found the car. Before we take our first break here, and I'm going to talk about how upset I am at a few people. This week, we lost a person.
A notorious person.
Sorry, I need to pull this up. My bad. Kelly Phillips.
It's coming. All
right. This week, O.J. Simpson died, and the first thing I saw after it wasn't like, R.I.P. O.J. Simpson. It was it was a supercut of the great Norm Macdonald shitting on O.J. And the thing was, Norm Macdonald got fired from SNL because Don Ohlmeyer, who was the NBC executive at that point, was BFFs with OJ. And he finally gave Norm an ultimatum. He goes, you can't do any more OJ jokes, because this is during the trial.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was convicted yet, whatever. I'm sorry, acquitted. Jesus.
Freudian slip.
So Norm went super hard and just did all OJ jokes that week, and he got fired. But just to steal some content from one of my favorite comedians.
And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty. In other book news, Prince Charles released an autobiography in which he states that he never loved Princess Di and that his father pressured him to marry her. The book is entitled, Of Course O.J. Did It. I mean, come on. In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's probably... You don't get worse luck than that.
The great Norm Macdonald, everyone.
Bless him. Just bless him.
I went to Benedictine Military Catholic School for like 6 months before they were like, yeah, you don't belong here.
You're not one of the 400.
Yeah, I don't belong here. And I was a freshman in 1996 when the trial was going on at a military Catholic school in southeastern Georgia, Savannah, Georgia. We stopped homeroom to watch the verdict.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I was working in the professional room at that point for a print shop, and we pretty much stopped everything and gathered in the break room and watched it unfold. It was divided. I'll just say that. It was divided.
And we're going to divide this segment and see you in the second one. And welcome back to From Behind the BarCast, a tradition unlike any other. We went pretty hard on the master segment there earlier, but we were off last week. We had a lot to get to,
Indeed.
And I think it was, especially people who haven't been to the Masters, getting a little bit of that comedic side of it, or people that have been to the Masters, and didn't get to go this year.
And I do want to thank my mom and Joe for making that happen.
Yeah, they're super gracious to us as well.
I love my folks. They're just the best.
Good time. Nice house to stay in.
Indeed.
Had my own bathroom, so I didn't have to use a urinal anywhere. And Joe, he was funny. Like,
he's my heart. You're really lucky when you get step parents that you just adore, and I've been blessed with Pam and Joe. Just couldn't ask for two better people.
Yeah, it was a good time. And the thing was, us being in the industry that we're in, and them being, 80 years old, they're in bed by like 9:30.
Yeah.
We sleep in a little bit, and for them sleeping in is probably like 7:30.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you guys getting up today? I was like, yeah. Well, all of our best intentions, because we went up there on Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. We were like, early night.
Yeah.
Get up bright and early, go to the thing, and you and I sat out there smoking cigs on the back of the golf cart that someone forgot to plug in the last time they used it. So instead of
the batteries didn't have any water. That was so it was just dead.
So we had planned on taking a little golf cart trip around the very nice neighborhood that they live in. So we just sat on the back of the golf cart, smoked a couple cigs, had a couple Celsius, and then all of a sudden 2:30 rolls around, whatever. I was like, we should probably get to bed.
Yeah.
So another thing happened outside of the Masters. I almost got away with it if it wasn't for these meddling kids.
Uh-huh.
So sometime in the past week or so, sometime in April, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
I've got about 6 to 10 friends who know when my birthday is. A couple of them because their birthday is like a few days away.
Yeah.
A couple of them just because they're like really close friends with me and I love them, like Austin Bosky, Jesse Gulliver. But I don't, and I kind of didn't realize at first that I would be working on the day that my birthday was. So definitely, I turned 43. I don't give a shit how old I'm getting. But anyone I tell that I'm like, I don't like making a big ceremony out of my birthday. Like, oh, well, are you afraid to get old? Shit like that. I'm like, obviously, I don't give a shit. But when I'm at work, I don't want some ceremony or some thing that's going to distract me. Or, people are like, oh, you got to do another shot with me,
Yeah.
Just the whole, rigmarole of it. I don't like people saying anything nice to me. Okay. Compliments make me uncomfortable. People telling me happy birthday. So,
do you enjoy celebrating other people's birthdays?
I enjoy celebrating other people's birthdays and the manner in which they like to celebrate them.
Okay.
So like Parks and Rec, Leslie Knope played the prank on Ron Swanson because he doesn't want anyone to know his birthday. So she pretended that she was having like this giant surprise party. They were, all this. Mm-hmm. And what she actually did was she cornered off a room for him, got him a steak and a cigar and Lagavulin 16 and the movie The Bridge Over River Kwai.
Oh, wow.
Because that's his, perfect idea of a birthday, sitting alone, smoking a cigar, eating a steak, drinking Lagavulin, watching one of the 3 films that he's ever seen.
Yeah.
So however people like to celebrate their birthday, I'll be a part of that.
I got you.
But so she's not going to be my Karen of the week because I love her. She's a great gal. But here's how it went down. A night that I was at work, midnight was my birthday. Nobody knew it. Nobody was the wiser.
I didn't.
Midnight passed. I got off work, came home, boom. Go to work the next day. No one knows. It's like 8:30. I knew I wasn't getting off anytime soon, but I was like, by the time 8:30 came around, I was like, I'm in the home stretch, baby.
Yeah.
Beth Sullivan walks up to me. She goes, "Hey, buddy, happy birthday." I was like, "Oh, thank you so much. Don't you dare tell anybody." And I could tell she was like, "Haha, of course I won't." Not long later, Mike Henderson comes out. He goes, "I got to tell you something. Eric knows it's your birthday." Eric Thomas, the owner.
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Okay, that's fine. How does he know?" He's like, I don't know."
Yeah.
10 seconds later, the entire kitchen's out there. The mayor, they were already there. They were already sitting at the bar.
What a turnout.
My buddy, yeah, I know, right? The mayor, his wife, my buddy Mike Lynch, so you start seeing people that I do know that were around going, what is this? Oh, it's your birthday?
Yeah.
So and about 10 minutes before that, the mayor and his wife had come in, and she brought some brownies. She goes, "Hey, you want a brownie?" I was like, "No, I got to drive," which is a joke I always use. Yeah. It's an old Jimmy Lucas joke. Anytime anyone would offer him anything, he'd be like, "Nah, sorry, honey, I got to drive." She's like, "There's nothing in them." I was like, I know that. You know, I'm just sweet enough, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But he had Eric had went and pilfered one of these brownies and he stuck some candles in it. She's like, "Now you got to eat it." Yeah. So I ate it. It was delicious. So Beth Sullivan is related, wink, wink, to a person that has some deep lore on this podcast. His name's Scott Jacobs, wink, wink. If you know, you know. I'll tell you after if you don't know. Even Scott motherfucking Jacobs wouldn't have sold me out.
Yeah.
And told the owner that it was my birthday, where I had almost gotten through the night without. But the thing was, after the songs were sang and the hugs were given, it felt good. You know, it was fine.
Yeah.
But there was no trailing off after that. It was like ceremony done. That was it.
Yeah.
A couple more people were like, "Hey, didn't know it's your birthday. Happy birthday," or whatever. Some of the customers I'd never seen before, they're like, "Hey, happy birthday." Probably got like extra $10 from each of them. Whatever.
Gotcha.
So it worked out fine. But Beth Sullivan, you sold me out. I'm going to remember that forever.
It came out of love. It had to.
I know that.
Adoration.
I know that. It was just, I'd gotten so far along that I was like, oh man, the content for the podcast on Monday, you know, like I made it all the way through.
Well, I've got one coming up. I traditionally don't like to make a big deal out of it, mainly because to acknowledge getting old is not something I like to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't need like a Kelly Palooza to go on a whole week, you know, of just, well, technically it's on Wednesday, but I start on Sunday and go till the next Sunday and all that kind of thing. But what I've learned from some friends of mine is that they want to celebrate your day. Whether they need a reason to celebrate anything or not, you know, but they want to celebrate their day. Man, I love you, had a lot of fun, you know.
But then it almost
how dare you not let me know it's your birthday? 'Cause I love you, man, you know.
I'll let you, whenever I'm ready to decide what I think would be the funnest thing to do on my birthday, I'll include you in it, you know what I mean? But it's almost like the albatross around your neck, because if someone is so pumped to do stuff for your birthday, you know what I mean? You feel almost beholden to, because let's say, you know, they want you to do something really, like, oh, we planned this for you. Like, I don't like widespread panic. Why'd you give me tickets to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
You don't want to be the fucking sourpuss.
Yeah. It's a tricky thing for me because I mean I guess I've gotten to a point in my life where I have the luxury of pretty much doing whatever I want whenever I want if I can afford to.
Yeah.
So I don't need really one day to. I'm not saying you got to act like a fool.
Sure.
Or come out of your shell or something like that. But I just like to enjoy it my own way. And that could be as simple as watching the Spider-Man trilogy alone.
Alone, right.
You know?
And the impetus put on the singular day has never been important to me, because in the industry that we work in, you know, sometimes you don't know if you're going to be off that day or whatever. It doesn't, the event doesn't have to happen on the actual day. But typically, my birthday falls around when Wani happens down in Sewanee, or the Masters, or 420 in Atlanta, or on any number of events. Typically, I'm already at something.
Yeah.
So then it's like, you know, the birthday happens at an event that's already going on, and I'm not the focus or the center,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's just a joyous thing where it's like, yeah, it is your birthday, you know?
Yeah, man. And I've never had a bad experience on my birthday that makes me jaded against the idea.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Oh, after that one, never again.
You better not ever plan.
You
better not plan that again.
I think as I've gotten older, I like the giving idea more than the getting idea. Sure. Even during the holidays, I'm the last to open my gifts from the parents and all that. I truly enjoy giving. You know, as best I can. It's
a weird turnaround. How, like, when you're younger, it's like, yeah, I want that guitar for Christmas.
Yeah.
But then, literally, the joy you get.
Yeah, and I know it's
giving something.
As you get older, it comes cliche, but I guess maybe the most meaningful gifts I get are these little tokens of remembrance. Not an immediate thing, but something that came from a moment a while back that they had.
That we shared together, or that meant something.
Yeah.
And speaking on that, so in years past, besides like if I'm around the bar, we'll go drinking. If it's my birthday, you know, like at some point, you're going to have some drinks with your friends around your birthday. But in years past, we had a group of like 4 or 5 guys that either the week of my birthday or before or after, whenever it was convenient for all of us, we'd go play a round of golf.
Nice.
And then we do stuff around it, like sometimes, eat at a place before or after. We'd have like a little bit of an itinerary,
Right.
Designated drivers and stuff. And so the last year that we did it, before COVID, it was the 4 normal guys and 2 of their wives were our event planners. So they stayed sober. It was sort of a surprise to me. Like, so I knew we were going to play golf.
Yeah.
But I didn't know we were going to do this thing before. We were going to, do this, whatever.
Yeah.
And one thing I definitely didn't know the last time was after the round of golf, we were going to get pedicures.
Seems like an odd placement.
In the timeline, yeah. That should be Act 2, not Act 3.
Yeah.
So we go, and we've already played a round of golf, and I'm not against a pedicure. I'd never had one before, but I was like, man, we're going to go in there all nasty? But then I thought about it. I was like, man, these motherfuckers probably seen
some nasty stuff.
Way worse stuff, right? So it's the normal 4 guys, and then we have a 5th guy that had never come before. Older gentleman, an old war vet. So we get into the spa, whatever. There's 5 of us. Chair 1, chair 2, chair 3, chair 4. I get chair 5. Like, I'm at the end. There was no significance on what chair. It was just I got the last chair. Yeah. So they start rolling out the Asian ladies because any pedicure manicure spot. It's
worth their salt.
It's going to be Asian ladies. So they roll out the first 4 for the first 4 gentlemen, and they're like, pleasant looking, Asians, age really well.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
do. Nice, whatever. So they roll out the first 4. Here comes my person. It's almost like they were like, oh shit, we got one more, and they pulled her out from like the basement or something. She waddles out. She not a sumo wrestler.
Okay.
But she could fuck a dude up in the ring if she needed to.
Damn.
So my little feetsies are in there soaking. She starts hammering my calves, which I don't mind, but I'm looking down the row of people, and they've got these soft Asian women just
caressing,
and I was like, is this a setup? So I kind of asked my buddy next to me, I was like, is this fucking setup? He's like, no, we had no idea that they had a ringer. And like, it was fine. I was just like, this is comedy. I was like, I wish they had set this up, because literally, it was like she came out of a smoke-filled room where she was dealing poker, to the Yakuza or something like that. And she comes out, and she don't touch my feet first. She starts hammering my calves. I was like, is this a Turkish, bathhouse, or some birch leaves coming out, or like a...
She does it the old way.
Yeah, right.
The customs.
I got the traditional.
Evolved, the traditional.
So, the older gentleman that was with us, he will come out to the bar, and he'll drink like 3-4 PBRs, and he always keeps the tabs, so he knows how many he's had.
Okay.
Even though he always has 4, like that's just what he does. But we went out. We always go to the West End over there in South Carolina. I think they call it like Savannah Harbor or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And it's pretty pricey unless you know somebody.
Sure.
But, we know a guy, whatever. So we get out there. It's a great course, but it's really long, and I always shoot terribly at it. You know? So we break out some bottles of Jameson. They had smuggled some little, like airplane bottles out there. So we're all shooting Jameson at like hole 4. And we had been to a bar before that. So the gentleman who's used to drinking 4 PBRs, and that's his day, Now he's 4 PBRs and like 4 shots of Jameson deep. And down the way, I hear him. I don't know if he's having like a Vietnam or Korean War flashback or something like that. But I start hearing things like, "Are you Chang or are you Chong?" And it wasn't venomous. It wasn't malicious. He's a great guy.
Right.
But just there's a twinge of inappropriateness.
Yeah. One man's slightly inappropriate is another man's pure racism.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. But he's on the former end, you know.
I got you.
But so I'm trying to read the temperature of the ladies.
Yeah.
And they're in Southeast Georgia. They've probably heard way fucking worse.
So they weren't bothered or took offense at
No,
all?
not at all. So I kind of quit
Gotcha.
giving a shit about that. But one of the gifts that I got, talking about you saying like even if it's a trinket that means something, that year someone had went to the Masters and they brought me back a clip that goes in your hat or wherever that has a ball marker that's magnetic that slides out.
Nice.
So I'm going to go play golf this week. And I'll look for that goddamn thing for like 3 hours today, and I can't find it.
Oh, no.
So I'm upset, but there's a few places I haven't looked yet, but I'm still, you know.
Do you know you have had it since you moved to this place, the new house? Have you seen it since?
I feel like I have, but since I have moved in here,
Yeah.
there's about 3 places in this house where I piled a bunch of shit,
Yeah.
and I've never looked at it again. So there's the possibility that it is there.
All right.
Another gift I got that year, which I still have in my golf bag down there, was a box of Titleist Pro V1s.
Good ball.
I was like, that's got to be way more goddamn expensive than the round of golf we just played, you know? Those things aren't cheap.
Some golf balls? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a
$30 a sleeve for some of those babies, even more.
This is a box
Yeah.
of Titleist V1s. So the guy who got them for me, I was like, dude, thank you. My other friend, Rob Kisselbeth, shout out. He got me a set of irons like 2 years before that, like good irons.
Sweet.
And which was like, you know, thank you so much for that. I'm about to use them things again this week. But this guy, I was like, I'm not a good golfer.
Yeah.
Buying me great clubs helps. You know,
Okay,
like
sure.
balls, I'm just going to lose these things. All right, don't none of you little rapscallions do this. But he goes, nah, man, them things cost me $12.99. I was like, that whole box of fucking Pro V1s? He goes, yeah, I went to Walmart. And what you do is they got the little, they're in a cardboard slide thing. He goes, I just slid the one off of the fucking, whatever the cheap ones were with the barcode.
Yeah.
Stuck the other thing on top.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's Walmart. Fuck them. I don't give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they're doing
short,
fine on loss retention.
Yeah,
Don't worry
exactly.
about that.
Long story short, I got a whole bunch of V1s to lose in the woods.
So quickly back to the foot, the petty. Are you ticklish?
No, not really.
All right, so it didn't bother you at all having someone touch your feet
No,
or anything like that?
She wasn't tickling shit.
Yeah, well,
Bro,
I mean, outside of the sumo slaps,
Yeah.
getting ready to get in the circle.
Her approach, she couldn't have tickled anyone with a feather. You know?
Yeah, so just a note that I would not tell anybody about my birthday anyway, but do not get me a massage or anything because I'm ticklish as hell. So if you want to know secrets about my life or give up company, whatever, just tickle me. I'll tell you everything you want to know. I just can't stand being touched that way.
Really?
Yep. Cannot have a massage.
Really?
Just don't like it.
I'm ticklish to one person. My dad could tickle the shit out of me. No one else in this world has ever been able to tickle me. And rest in peace, one of my strongest favorite memories of my dad was we played a game called Wang.
Okay.
I don't know where Wang came from. I think it was just something I probably said as a kid.
Yeah.
But so, we're just milling around the house, whatever. And if I yelled Wang, I would run and he would have to chase me.
Yeah.
And he would catch me and tickle me until I told him I loved him.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I'd be like, if I wanted to interact with Dad, I'd be like, walking through the wang.
Game on.
Everything drops.
That's awesome.
It's time to chase around. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like childhood trauma, but when I was younger, my dad would kind of pin me down, and it was called "Who's the Master?" And he would get my arms down, and he would kind of just take his knuckle. And I promise this wasn't child abuse. It wasn't that. It was just father son fucking around.
That's what you do.
That kind of thing. But he would just tickle the shit out of me. And like I said, I don't know if it was based off that or not, but as an adult, whatever, I can't like go
So
through
even
massage.
soft touches.
Once the switch is flipped on me,
Okay,
there's no coming back. It's like I can maybe enjoy something for a little while or whatever, but then once that trigger is going, it doesn't matter where I'm touched. I'm laughing, but I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
I've even told, even some of my girlfriends.
Soft, hard, anything.
Yeah.
Ribs.
Even to the point where, some of the girls I've dated have been like, I'm about to throw you across the room. I'm laughing while I'm saying this, but I'm really about to launch you off the couch into the wall if you don't stop. I'd
hate to get violent right now from being tickled, but...
Yeah, so if I was in the CIA and they wanted to know trade secrets, they get my armpits, I'm telling them everything.
They don't need to use LSD on you or the truth serum. They're like...
Nope, just a feather.
Oh, we got Ray Kelly in here. He's a tickle case.
Yeah, ticklish.
Well, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a lot to catch up on. Sorry we weren't here last week, but it makes you miss us a little bit. Like that's. And it was really nice hearing some people come up to me like, "Hey, where were you last week?"
Yeah.
Because they're like, on Tuesday mornings when I drive to work, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I expect to hear the first half of the podcast, and then when I drive home, I expect to hear the second half of the podcast. Yeah. And I should have announced it a little bit that I literally it wasn't just because we were going to the Masters, but
no, yeah,
I was trying to put some content together, and like game time, I can always make something happen.
Yeah.
But I just thought about it, and I was like, man, I don't need to make any content happen this week. Like, I don't want to force anything. There's going to be plenty the week after. And so thanks for all the birthday wishes, unwanted or not.
Happy birthday, bud.
Thank you. And thanks for taking me to the Masters. And thank you guys for listening every week when we do put out a podcast. Remember, visit firemakerbeer.com if you want to try out these. I'm on my second sour tonight, so... That kind of like it says something. All right, I love you, Kelly. I love you guys, and we'll see you next week.